how do we really care, especially those that we are not in front of and that we can't see? And also how to share with those that maybe we are not with, or that we don't see much of. Of course, we have the telephone, and we have Zoom, and we have emails and WhatsApp, but I want a little bit deeper to caring and sharing in these current times. So I think I'd just like to start with a reflection or a meditation. So if you want to close your eyes, sit comfortably. Nice if you're not holding anything. Leave your eyes open if you want, but close them if you want. And I just want us just to pause for a little bit. Let's just have a bit of quiet with ourselves. I wish to share a few words, but just this is time for you right now. So I'm sitting still. I'm being quiet. A time to reflect. Maybe reflect on my day. It's 5 in the afternoon, evening, and my day. How's it been? Busy, rushed, even being in one place we can find ourselves busy and rushed. Have I given myself quality time today? Or maybe this is the first time I'm giving myself some space. How have I been towards others today? Pleasant, positive? Or have I been a little bit sharp or reactive? That's okay. Fine. Let me just reflect. Maybe if I have been a bit sharp or reactive, how do I want to continue the rest of my evening towards those around me? I want to be polite, respectful, act responsibly. And to do that, I have to look at myself. Just a few positive thoughts I will create for myself right now. I am calm. I am peaceful. However the day has been, that's fine. The rest of the day is going to be better. I am okay. Everyone around me is okay. Everything is okay right now. This moment, everything's okay. I am calm. I am peaceful. I am relaxed. Okay, just a short reflection. You know, many of us maybe might be quite good at caring for ourselves on the outside. We might go to the gym, we may be eating very well, having lots of smoothies and vegetables, and maybe we get good sleep, but many of us maybe don't actually. And we don't do those things that we'd like to do. But I think true self-care for me, true care, especially if I want to care for others, first of all, it's about caring for myself. And what is true care? In the times that we're going through, we maybe have a lot more time on our hands. And that could be awkward for many of us, but it's a time actually to look at me, look at my own mind. And we had a little reflection then. It's a bit of self-talk. And this time on our hands is an opportunity just to look at what's going on in my head. And, you know, when we lead such busy lives, and things will start to go back to some kind of normality, as in we'll be going out more and maybe back into our workplaces, that will start to happen. But this busyness, I think we really have to look at, we're rushing around from work work to home, then to our social, then wherever we go. We're busy, busy, busy. And I sometimes find this business is a distraction from looking at what's going on in my own mind, in my own head. And so this time where we may have more time on our own, I can really look at what's happening in my own mind. And there was recently quite a tragedy actually locally here, and it was about one young person who he was so busy doing so many activities, from study to this sport to this activity, and he wasn't very well actually, and he wrote his thoughts down, which is somebody close to him read, and he said, I couldn't bear what was going on inside of my mind. And so I think we're taught so many things, we do so many things, but we're not taught how to observe our own mind and understand what's going on in our mind. And for many of us, then there may be negative thoughts, but there may not be negative thoughts. There may be a lot of waste thoughts or worry thoughts or thoughts of the past. And for me, meditation is a tool to sit with myself and look at my own mind. And I might not like what I see sometimes, but actually what we learn through meditation is inner reflection, to observe the things that I may not be happy with or I see in my own state of mind, but we're given tools to turn that around. And so in our culture in particular, we're told that self-talk or talking to the self is a sign of madness. And for me, actually, it's one of the most important aspects of my life is to talk to myself. Yes, if you're out walking down the street, I'll be a bit cautious about that. but if I'm with other people, but when I'm with myself and I can find some time alone, it's very good talking to myself. And that was what we did earlier, self-talk, but in a positive way. So meditation is a tool, not something I do. It's not something, again, because it could almost feel like a stress. I have to do my meditation. It's 11 o'clock at night. I haven't done my meditation. But if I use meditation as a tool to look at myself, to improve myself, I often ask myself, why have I come onto this path of meditation? It's been over 25 years actually now that I've been meditating. And I think one of the most important reasons for me why I meditate is because I see it as a tool to change myself, to make myself into a better person, but actually to be the best I can, to be comfortable with myself and to change myself, to look at those weaknesses in myself and to overcome them and to improve myself. And also an aim is to manage myself in a world which doesn't always go in the way I want it to go. There are people and situations that crop up in my life, things that I would never want to happen to me in particular, but have happened. But meditation has been the tool to help me manage those situations better. So that's why I meditate. So meditation, I sit with myself, and as I said earlier, I create some good thoughts about myself, because whatever I think, I will feel. So if I sit quietly with myself and I say I'm relaxed, I'm calm, in time I can start to have that feeling and experience. But if I'm busy rushing around all day, I'm busy, I'm stressed, so much to do, we know how we feel when we think like that. So true self-care is addressing the state of my mind and doing something about those thoughts, recognizing them. I'm not perfect, but when I sit quietly with myself, I can see the things that maybe the thoughts I'm having that aren't very good, that are negative at times, but a lot of waste thoughts. Sometimes our mind I get in a trap, I get caught up in a kind of whirlwind of thoughts, and it's very hard sometimes to come out of that until I wear myself out and I say, enough's enough, and I feel rock bottom and I can say no more, and then I can let go. Well, I don't want to keep having those highs and those lows. So meditation is a tool I use to sit with myself, or even in action also, and I see myself going off track with my thinking, and I'm quicker, I have the ability quicker to pull myself in and say no more, none of that anymore. and bring myself back to a place where I'm more in control of the way I think. And then create thoughts. Meditation is about creating. I can create any thought I want. I can say I'm fed up. Someone messaged me today and said that they're all alone today. And if we think like that, I'm alone, maybe not the most inspiring of thoughts. And yes, I am alone. There is no one else around. But if I keep thinking I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, I'll start to think I'm lonely. Then how will I feel? Lonely, disheartened, uncomfortable with myself. And so, yes, I'm alone. There's no one else around. We're in a very tricky situation. The whole world is. So what thoughts will I have to uplift my spirits? What thoughts should I think? So maybe I sit down for a moment and think, okay, I'm going off track with this sense of loneliness and I'm starting to feel it. So what should I think to bring myself out of it? This time will pass. It won't be too long before I see my friends and I'm with them. Maybe I can email them. Maybe I can talk to them. This will pass. Everything's okay. In a sense, I know it's not okay. There's a lot going on in the world and the people are suffering in many ways and it's very traumatic. But if I keep saying it's traumatic, it's terrible, how do I manage all these thoughts which generate feelings in me? I start to feel even worse. So I acknowledge what's going on. I acknowledge the situation I'm in. But I find thoughts that suit me. We're all different. I find thoughts to uplift myself. See, before if we were feeling a bit low or fed up, we would find someone else to care for us. Oh, come on, let's meet for a coffee. So I have a terrible day at work and I wait to meet my friend for a coffee and I pour my heart out and I have a good old moan and complain. And then they too share their moans and complaints of the day, and then, wow, how do we feel? Maybe a bit better because I've expressed myself. However, what can happen is we become dependent on others to make us feel better about ourselves. And yes, we need others and it's important to connect with people, but through the art of meditation, I can actually become very independent in a very positive way, in that I can recognize how I'm feeling, and instead of waiting for that moment I can meet someone that can give me support and help me and care for me. I'm waiting for you to care for me. I work on myself the way I think, and I generate those thoughts and I uplift myself, I inspire myself, I create enthusiasm in myself. Then I'm not waiting for the end of the day, say 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, to get support from someone else or something else. It could be the gym that will give me that support, or I can't wait, whatever, for a meal out to give me that support. We don't actually have those things at the moment. So this is really an opportunity, this time we're going through, to become independent. Those things will be there later on, but independent and rely on my own inner resources. You know, we are human beings, and this being, with the human bit, we're very good at being busy externally with all the things that we do, but the being, I need to nurture that, the being which is my thoughts, my feelings, my character. And this is a real opportunity to nurture that being and bring that out. There is some time I can find to work with myself, create these thoughts. And for me, the being actually is innately positive and good. But because we don't have that experience and we're trapped by maybe our negative patterns of thinking, or this busyness has taken me away from appreciating and experiencing my own goodness that is not based on anything outside, I've moved away from that. And so now is an opportunity to come back to that and really get to know myself. I think, and for me, before I started meditating, I didn't know myself at all. I thought I was somebody with the name of Natalie, female, and this was my job, and this was the circle that I hung out in, and these are the places I went to, and this was my past and history, where I've travelled and what I've done and what I inspire to do. And all that is, of course, part of my life, but I connected my sense of worth based on those things. And actually, interestingly, we can't do many of those things. Of course, we can't travel. And so if my self-worth is based on all the places I've been to and all the things that I've done in my life, and now it's cut short, my self-worth can actually diminish, or I can go down with what's going on. And I think there is also a belief, especially in my upbringing, if things around me aren't good, then I'm not good. If things are sinking around me in life, I sink with it. That means I care. That means I really love. That means I'm there with everyone and everything. But actually, what I've learned through meditation, whatever is going on outside of me and what is happening to me, the aim is that I keep my spirits high. I nurture that being. The being is with the part of me that thinks and that feels on my character. And I work on creating a very positive personality. And then this idea that I'm not dependent or needy. It's when I'm lacking in me and I'm lacking in qualities and I don't know myself very well, then there's a neediness that I want to get these qualities from someone else. If I want love from somebody, or I want someone to give me happiness or an experience, whether it's shopping or doing something outside to give me a sense of joy, and these things we can't do. So again, this is a new opportunity to be with myself and create, reduce the neediness, and see that neediness maybe, first of all, and reduce it by really recognizing that peace and love and happiness, all these qualities that I've maybe looked for on the outside, are what I am. That, it's for me, this real self-care actually is to drop the negatives in my life, drop the habits, the patterns of thinking that I've adopted and lived with through no one's fault. I've just adopted these habits. So self-care, and I was thinking today to drop the lying, or the things we do undercover, or we do things kind of we take shortcuts, and we think no one can see and no one can know, and I'm getting on with my life doing all those little things that, things I would say, things like gossiping or thinking ill of others, or these habits that we may have developed and we think are kind of acceptable. But for me, true self-care is starting to reduce those things in my life, because gossiping about others, talking about others wastefully, actually isn't good for me. Thinking negatively about others, I maybe comment on them a lot, or seeing their defects, that I then share that with others and we talk about it. It's a very low energy. I may get a little bit of satisfaction out of someone agreeing with me about somebody else. And I think, I feel better that they see the same as me about this person. But after a while, I start to feel a bit low, or feel a bit down. And I may not put that low feeling, I may not equate it to the gossiping that I've been doing earlier in that day. But actually, how I'm feeling, again, comes back to the way I think. I'm feeling low, I'm feeling disheartened. If I spend some time with myself, reflection, meditation, I'll start to see, I'm feeling a bit low, a bit down. I was gossiping about someone to someone else, and maybe we did it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. We can get on the phone and have a good chat with someone. And what did we talk about for an hour? What was the quality of our conversation? Did we share the things we learned today? Did we share the things of what was good about today, and what I understood about myself? Did I share inspiring things? Did I lift myself? Did I lift the person on the other end of the phone? Or did we just share about all the difficulties and how busy work is and how pressured it is? And then that opens up the door for them to reply. So really, these things are also how I use my time. It's all links in. Self-care is about, give time to yourself, have time for your leisure, your things you need to do. But really, I think it's so, we hear a lot about this, and we get told this through the media, are encouraging us to use our time in a worthwhile way, to be disciplined, to have your breakfast, have your work time, have your, your time for you. So again, even after lockdown, also the discipline of how I use my time, that to have some time for myself, but have some time for meditation, use my time in a way that I'm not wasting it. Watch a bit of TV, but if I've watched it 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, how do I feel? Ask myself, is that true self-care? If I've watched something that's violent or aggressive, that's going into my mind, feeding my mind, is that true self-care? I'm throwing out things for you to think about, but these are things I ask myself. And so when I meditate and I spend time with myself, I reflect on my actions of the day, particularly in the evening. I sit down, I'll have a quick scan. I don't do this for very long, but how was my day? And did I use my time in a worthwhile way? Did I react? Did I get angry? How did I handle something? Something's on my mind. Why didn't it go well? So I look at it. I don't punish myself, but I give myself a hard time or beat myself up. I used to. So true self-care is I acknowledge it, I look at it, and then how can I make it better for tomorrow or the next time I handle a situation? So I don't go over and over it. I want to cut short that thinking, because if I'm holding my mistakes, going over and over my mistakes again and again, going over and over the mistakes of others in my mind, this isn't self-care. This is really giving myself a hard time, actually. So I don't use my time for that, to reflect, a bit of time to acknowledge, maybe, yes, I got angry in the day. Okay, Natalie, you got angry. So how are you going to do it better next time? What were the triggers? Now we could say, well, they did this. They didn't do as I asked. Aha, they didn't do as you asked, but where did the anger come from? Natalie, it came from me. Can't blame them. Oops, okay, stop blaming. It's so subtle. I've seen this in myself because, again, I've got more time to reflect on myself, and I've been meditating for many years, and an experience recently, I thought I'd dropped the blame game, but I could see subtly these thoughts coming up. They're the problem. I'm unhappy because of what they did or what they said, and I could see subtly, it's not so obvious, but I could see that I still got that blame in me, where I'm a bit unhappy, or I got a little bit, I reacted or a bit angry because of what they did. Ooh. So pull back. I'm not going to give myself a hard time and say, Natalie, 20 years of meditation, what's going on there? No. Stop. This is why we need to have time to stop. I stop and say, right, what can I learn from that? Gosh, subtle aspect of blame. So I've got to improve my meditation. I need to do a bit more meditation, go a bit deeper, understand myself. And I think one thing that's really lacking, this idea of self-care, is how much do I really kind of, sounds strange, but love myself and like myself. Just because I might have weaknesses or defects doesn't mean to say that I don't like myself or love myself. This whole package of me is the strengths and the weaknesses, the whole package. So I have to know myself and like myself and see my strengths, see the little triggers and the weaknesses that I have, so that I can then improve them and work on eradicating them, finishing them. That's my aim, and that's the journey. So true self-care is looking at my weaknesses and working on improving myself. Yeah. And as I was thinking of this topic, true self-care is like a journey of love. To make my life a journey of love, where I love myself as I am, I accept myself as I am, and then as I accept myself as I am, which means the good and the not so good, but then I acknowledge the not so good, but I want to improve that, I want to get better, I want to excel. So for me, this is true care for the self. This busyness, I think it's such a distraction from looking at ourselves. And so in a way we are less busy. And so it's an opportunity to look at me. So I've heard actually in one of our senior teachers, her name's Daddy Janki, she's just passed away recently, but the head of Brahma Kumaris, and she often equates busyness with laziness, and you think, no, impossible, I'm so busy, I'm not lazy, on the external, doing so much. But really, I've been reflecting on that recently, and I see when I'm so busy, then I'm distracted from looking at myself and working on myself. Actually, it's a laziness to like, oh, well, I'll do as I am, I'm okay, others are the problem, it's not me. So I don't give that attention that I should to working on myself and improving myself. And so it's a kind of almost inner laziness to do the work I need to do. And this is the journey of self-change. And there is work that has to be done, not to be laborious. It should be the work of love, of unraveling and understanding myself better. But there is a laziness to not do the work that needs to be done, because it's so easy to blame. These habits are deeply ingrained in us, and there's always someone worse than me, there's always someone better than me, but it's always easy to say, I feel like this because of. And these things have to stop now. This is the self-care. These habits have to finish. I have to start working on a different level now. This is true love, actually. So the aspect of also caring for others, I think many of us are very good at caring for others, I think. But to care for others, I really need to care for myself first of all. And we can do so much on the external. We can run around, and maybe some of you are delivering things for people, helping people. Maybe you are still working, and so you are caring for others. But actually, to truly care for somebody, I really need to be in a place where I understand myself. I'm not needy. I have my self-worth and my self-respect. And when I turn to another, when I'm in that safe space of who I am, I can see others and what they truly need. I think this is really a time to look at how I really care for others. I think I spent half my life doing this, maybe over caring, running around for people on an external level, doing, thinking, I'm caring so much for them. And then why aren't they reciprocating? Why aren't they giving me the respect? Why aren't they even acknowledging what they do? And I realised that I was caring just on the external and doing what I thought they needed, what I thought they wanted, 24/7 looking after them. Well, actually, what does the being, their beings also, they're needy, maybe what is it they really need? Whether it's love, whether it's a listening ear, whether it's some space. What does that other individual need? Otherwise, I was talking to someone the other day, very interesting. She was feeling strongly about a work colleague who is not being treated very fairly, and she felt strongly. And this work colleague was sharing with her about what was going on, but she was feeling so passionate about it that even she wasn't sleeping at night because she felt her work colleague should do something about it, wasn't being treated well. And we had this conversation about her work colleague who wasn't sure how to deal with it, whether she would deal with it. And as we were discussing, which was good for her and for me as we were talking about this, is it my neediness? Am I feeling that she should do something? I'm feeling that nothing's being done. It's not about this other person. It's about me feeling that this shouldn't happen. It's my sense of injustice. It's not about feeling what does she need to do, what does she want out of this. It's I'm feeling it's not right and she should do something. So it's interesting. Is it coming from my space, or we think, oh, it's true care because I care they're not being treated as best they should be treated, but is it me that's feeling injustice? And truly to care is to listen to the other individual if they want my advice. And this person obviously did, but then I share my advice, but then I have to step back, stand back, and if I've given my advice and my thoughts, let them decide. But if I'm constantly thinking about it, or I can't even sleep, this isn't true care for another individual. There's something about me. And I think sometimes in true care, we mix it up with interfering with someone else, over-caring, over-involving, and we think that's really caring. But if I'm being disturbed, if my peace is being taken away, then that's not true care for another. So this has helped me over the few days to see how to really care for others. Yes, we help them, but am I doing it for them or am I doing it for me? I find that was just a very interesting kind of realization for me and for her as well. So that's why it's very good to talk about these things. I just want to do a little reflection for a little while. So let's just stop there. So if you just want to either close your eyes or keep your eyes open. This is just time for me. I just want a little bit of quiet, actually. You can just reflect on some of the things that I've said. Does anything resonate with you? What you've heard, has it touched you in some way that you can think, yes, there's something in this that I can work on for myself, or has meant something? Just have a bit of silence there, reflection. Okay. Another aspect of caring for the self is to pause every now and then. Sometimes we're so ready to jump in and to save, to rescue, or to justify myself or prove myself. And sometimes just to pause, just pause and then move into what I need to say or what I need to do. And also a little technique which I think really it's helping me at the moment is, before I start a task, it's just a moment of peace. Just even when I get in the car, before I drive, I'm peaceful, I'm calm. Before I embark on something, I did some cooking just before here. I made something, it's a good time, isn't it? I made something sweet to eat. Often we don't get time to bake, so I did some baking. And again, just a few moments of calm, peace, positive thoughts, and then into the action. So true care is when I bring quality into what I do. It's not about what I do. It's about the quality of what I'm doing that counts. This busy life that we lead, it's all about what I've done, and I listed the things that I've done. But what we're learning on the path of meditation is the quality that I bring into the action. And it's very nice, someone who I'm giving the meditation course online at the moment, it's a nice thing he said, that I'm actually enjoying sweeping the floor. And his wife says sweep the floor. Before, he'd begrudgingly do it and do a bodged job or sweep something away somewhere that shouldn't be. But he said, no, I'm doing a thorough job, and I make sure that everything is done to the best I can do it. And even my wife has a smile. But he said, I feel good about it. Very interesting. And it's sweeping the floor. So for me, that there's a lot in it. So this also goes on to the aspect of sharing, actually. What am I sharing with others? There's so much news, there's so much information. Yes, so share news, but I think really contain it. Be aware of how much that you are watching and then sharing with others. I've really reduced the amount of time when I watch the news and then how much I share with others. I've had to take that on board for myself and what I share. But the whole aspect of when I interact with others, maybe I don't see them, maybe it's through on the phone or however I share, but something positive, something uplifting. I think not only does it help me, it's coming out of my mouth, I'm uplifting another individual. You might, after this session, you go and talk to somebody rather than what did I miss in the news, what's been said in the last hour. Can I share with something I heard? So this is not that you tell them, you don't say this is what you should do, but what you've heard or what's helped you. I've heard this is what's helped me, let me share this. Because as I share, I'm uplifting myself, I'm uplifting others. When I share negativity or gossip or something that's it's not healthy. It affects my mind. You know, it can affect my body. And in that interaction, question, am I uplifting another? What am I sharing? Is it something that will make somebody feel better about themselves? Something that I heard very nice today. It's like, be careful that I'm not creating sorrow for anybody or saying something to upset somebody. I have to really address this. But actually, one, I may not be saying anything to anybody, nothing, I'm not being unkind or nasty in any way, fine. But actually on another level, take it up a level. Have I increased the happiness of another? I thought this was so nice, because sometimes maybe we don't say anything bad to somebody, but yes, I've listened to their story, I've listened to what they're going through. Is there a way I can find of what they've shared, I can make them feel better about themselves? I can bring a smile, or I hear a chuckle from them, or a laugh, you know? So I think, what am I sharing with others? The intention is to uplift, yes, support, but maybe even take it one step level to bring happiness to somebody. Yeah, we have to be very careful and very tactful, I'm aware of that, but this sharing, you know, we have a human habit of thinking of others and talking about others. And again, this is not caring for myself, it's not caring for others. What am I sharing? What's coming through my mouth? I think, I think it's very nice. I share this a lot with people that know me, but we think of this mouth and we say there are 2 gates, 32 guards in your teeth, and yet that viper, the tongue, still gets out. It doesn't take a lot, does it? A few words and we've upset another, we disturbed another. But first person who gets disturbed is myself. Doesn't take much. So watch this mouth. Watch what I'm sharing. Yeah. True care for others, is I share things of positivity. Yeah. I share my experience with others. Not that we tell others. No, we correct others. We criticize others. The first person that with the criticism, even though someone in front of me may have done something I don't like, I might be in a position where I have to bring something to someone's attention. But if I'm critical, the criticism, the negativity first affects my mind, it pollutes my mind, it brings my energy down. Then that comes out to another, I've affected them, so it brings them down. And then also the other effect is the atmosphere. I've affected, sometimes we say I wasn't affected by what they said or what I heard, I'm not affected. But if I go away thinking about what somebody said or has done, even if I think about it, especially if I talk about it, I've been affected, I've been influenced by them. So I may need to address something to somebody. Maybe someone, it could be a child or somebody in a work situation, and I have to address something. So how do I share with them, but also I have to address something that's not maybe quite right, but I don't want, so I have to find a way of delivering something to someone without putting them down. And I think how that really works is when I sit in my state of self-respect, my mind is positive, I'm not overly thinking about somebody else and what they've done. I'm in that state of self-respect myself. I'm in that state of calm. And then I share with another, whatever it is, but I don't have the intention of criticizing them. I'm going to put you down. The intention is I need to share. This will help you. This will uplift you. So I share with the intention of upliftment, even if I have to deal with something unpleasant. But if I'm saying it's unpleasant and I want to tell you off, and the intention there is to put someone else down, now I have to change my intention. I have to address it, but I'm going to address it because we have to work through this. We have to learn from this. So it again comes back to my mindset and where I'm coming from. So if I need to share anything, check how I'm feeling. Very important, my state of mind. If I'm nervous, or if I'm angry, or if I'm emotional, best not to share until I'm in a better state of mind. Timing also. If someone's just rushing out the door, are they going to listen? Is that the right time to share? No. If they're agitated themselves, I have to find when they're in a mood frame that I can actually then, where they'll actually listen, then I will share with them. So all these factors are very important when I have to share with another. But there are some people in my life that maybe I'm not with now. So how do I care and share with them? You know, the beautiful thing we learn through meditation is that vibration can reach others, energy reaches others. And so even I can send good wishes. You know, there are a few people I know who are very unwell at the moment, physically and mentally, they're not so good. I meditate every morning. And so I give some time where I visualize that person and I send them good wishes. I have a few good thoughts. It's not constant. I have a thought, and then I have a few people that I do that for, but it's not that I do it for half an hour, but a few, I visualize them, send them good wishes, send them peace, whatever you feels right, but send that good energy to them. I don't have to think if it reaches them or not, but I just want to do that. And because I can't physically see them, that's what I do. And yeah, I'm sending good wishes. So sometimes the things are out of our control, and also especially at the moment where physically I maybe can't do some things that I'd like to do for others, but my good wishes can be sent. And sometimes people may say, oh, what's the good of good wishes? What's the point of that? But actually, it can do a lot of good. Because we know if I send my negative thoughts, or I send my worry, thoughts to another, that can also reach them. You know, if someone comes to see you and they're in a worried, tense state, we pick that up, we feel that. So let me turn that energy around, positive energy, and I send them good wishes. For me, I know it works, and that's something that's helping them. I don't need to know the result or the outcome, but I send them good wishes. And also to the world at large, I can look at the news, I can see what's going on. How can I care for all those people I don't even know about? Yes, we can clap for them, we can do things on a physical level, but using my mind, something we're not taught, but it's something very beautiful to think about. You can send your good wishes to people, to the world, to nature, to the elements. We know there's not only the virus going on, the elements are in upheaval with floods and tornadoes and high winds. I can send my good wishes and my positive vibrations to the elements also. This is also caring and sharing for the world at large. Our mind is a beautiful tool. I think I don't use it to the best of my ability. Sometimes we get so trapped in small things, little things going on in our lives, these trivialities, and that's not true caring and true sharing. So I can use my mind and share my good wishes, my positive attributes, good thoughts, far reaching out from my family home, from my local community to my global community. I can also do, this is a way of sharing this. The mind has such an ability to do amazing things. I was watching a program the other day about Uri Geller and how, you know, with his mind, he can, and it was a program that we had, the Brian Prize had with him many years ago. I think it was the Royal Albert Hall, and I saw a glimpse of that program, how with his mind he could, from a seed in his palm, a little root started to develop, and I think he bent keys in that session also. The mind has so much potential, so let me use my mind. Okay, maybe not to grow plants, but we know if we send some TLC, some loving care to our plants, that can help. But let me use my mind to have good thoughts, powerful thoughts, uplifting thoughts for the world around us, for the world at large. And I have got time to do that. And we don't need a lot of time. We definitely don't need money, but we need a bit of time, and that can be morning or it can be evening. I can give some time and sit down. I can listen to a meditation commentary, or I create my own commentary. And in fact, last night I thought, I don't want anything, I just want to sit quietly. And so for some time last night, there was no music, there was no quiet. I just sat with myself in silence, created some positive thoughts, some uplifting thoughts at that time for myself, for my family, for this world family, and out further, and just some quiet time. And I felt uplifted from that. I felt very good. To me, that is true care, actually. And that sharing, I'm sharing good vibrations with this world. So I thought I'd like to just share a little story with you, actually, just to finish off, and then I'll do a meditation. And it's a story I read in the positive thinking course, but it is a nice story. It's about how, we are responsible for every action of our lives, every thought, word and action. I'm responsible, and how I can really care and share for myself in a way that can impact my life. Let me just read this. It's a story of an elderly carpenter. Some of you may have heard it. An elderly carpenter was ready to retire. He told his employer contractor about his plans to leave the house building business and live a more leisurely life with his wife, enjoying his extended family. He would miss the paycheck, but he needed to retire. They would get by. The contractor was sorry to see his good worker go and asked if he could build just one more house as a personal favour. The carpenter said yes, but in time it was easy to see that his heart wasn't in it. He resorted to shoddy workmanship. When you're about to leave something, your standard drops a bit. He resorted to shoddy workmanship and used inferior materials. It was an unfortunate way to end a dedicated career. When the carpenter finished, the employer came to inspect the house. He handed the front door key to the carpenter. "This is your house," he said. "My gift to you." The carpenter was shocked. If he had only known he was building his own house, he would have done it all so differently. And so it is with us. We build our lives a day at a time, often putting less than our best into the building of our life. Then with a shock, we realise we have to live in the house we have built. If we could do it over again, we'd do it so much differently. But we can't go back. And so you are the carpenter. Your attitudes, the choices that you make, build the house you live in tomorrow. So it's all about taking responsibility for my own thoughts, my own words and my actions. And this is true self-care. And then the house or the life that I live in can be as good as I want it to be, based on me taking responsibility for the quality and the value I put into everything that I do in my life. So I'd like to finish with a short reflection meditation. So sitting quietly, eyes open, eyes closed. I just reflect on a few powerful thoughts about myself. I remind myself, I am the being, the character, the spirit. And this time in my life right now is an opportunity to nurture the character, to improve it. And I do that by thinking about my positive qualities. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. I am powerful. This is who I truly am. And as I think of these qualities, I can feel those qualities and go into the experience of them. And this strengthens the spirit, the being, the soul. And that strength enables to look at myself, to improve myself, to change myself. I am peace. I am love. I am powerful. And just for a few moments, I take my thoughts up above and I look down on our physical world. I see the globe before me. And I send peaceful thoughts to my troubled world. I send thoughts of love to my troubled world. I send strength and power, because this is what it needs right now. I visualize the world below me. And I send thoughts of peace to nature. Thoughts of peace to the elements. Thoughts of peace to animals. I send thoughts of hope and love to my fellow human beings. I bring myself back to me, with the awareness that every day I will fill my mind with these thoughts, and also to others. Okay, good. So thank you for listening.
Thanks, sister. Thanks for the lovely sharings. Very inspiring. You shared lots of tools and techniques. I think what I'll do is now I'll ask the our participants if they have any questions. They can unmute themselves and they can ask a question, or you can also send me a chat message. I've got a question, Natalie. I mean, you mentioned about sending good wishes. I think because even in your meditation, you spoke about sending good wishes, and I think it's very relevant where our near and dear ones are not. I can't go and meet them physically, or even this commentary you spoke about giving good wishes to the nature, animals, and so on. So if you could just share some more tips on how can we give good wishes. Is it what preparation we need to do, one, and secondly, if let's say if I'm not a regular meditator, can I still give good wishes?
So preparation actually is the good wishes to myself first of all. So I think it's important that we do give some time to settle and sit down, not to be in action, and just to sit quietly and prepare my mind. And I have to give, this self-talk is important actually. So you find what works for you, and especially if you're new to meditation, then I have to generate good thoughts towards myself, and that's not easy. We're not used to doing that, and sometimes we're told, isn't that being arrogant or being selfish? But actually it's the most unselfish thing I can do, because if I create a more positive mindset, how am I going to be with others around me? I'm going to be much more loving, much more caring, and be more selfless with them. I'm more likely to be selfish when I'm negative. It's all going to be about me. So I prepare myself by having good thoughts for myself. And then really it is initially, if I'm a new meditator, it is about practice.
Right.
And you may not feel it, but you have to make that step. And sometimes I'm not in that right frame of mind myself. But if I was to sit and say, well, I'm not in the right frame of mind, why bother? I can't do it. We know where that's going to get us. So I actually have to prep my thoughts for myself, send them out there to others, but I may not feel it, but it's actually, I have to create the thought initially. I have to visualize, I have to experiment. There could be a conflict inside. It's true that it could be saying, hey, come on, your good wishes. You just shouted at the cat 5 minutes ago. You know, and I can take that. It'll tell you that. It'll say, oh, remember yesterday you did this. It'll come straight up. And the fact is we don't force it. We don't give in and say, yeah, it's right. We don't force, but at the same time, we don't fight it. Yeah, right. Yeah, I did shout at the cat 5 minutes ago. Yes, I did get angry at my colleague yesterday. But right now, I'm good, everything's okay. So I empower myself with my own thoughts. That's the preparation. And literally, if you can't think of anything else to say, good wishes is enough, I think. Some people say to me, I can't think of anything good about this person, and they've really upset me. So I say, just say good wishes to them. Just literally create the thought. And if you're alone, you can verbalize it. Good wishes, good wishes. In that way, what I'm doing is reducing the wastage in my mind. You know, so good wishes is it can mean so much to many people, but for me, sometimes I would just say good wishes, good wishes. And what I'm doing is slowing the erratic thinking, slowing the negative thoughts and the waste, and just good wishes. At least that's good wishes. It's not that's going to benefit me. So even to think it, speak it is a first step.
Right. Okay. I think we've got just a couple of more questions. I think we got two questions. One is, I think, just picking up from what you shared about sending good wishes. So is it possible to, it's about how can I give feedback to somebody, especially when I've got negative feedback? And the second question is, what exactly to visualize while sending good vibrations like love to the world?
What's the first question again? If you've had negative feedback from them?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You have to do what was it?
So is it possible to, if you can elaborate more on sharing feedback about people who's given us negative feedbacks? How can I possibly, I'm just adding my bit is about how can I send good wishes to them if they've given me negative feedback?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you're feeling the comments you've heard, someone from someone else or from them even directly. And I've had this, and I still have this. Someone says something to me, maybe abruptly or not nicely, and then I have to be around them for a period of time. In the past, I would have said, well, I'm not going to be around them. I'm going to keep away from them, avoid. But avoidance isn't self-care. This is an opportunity to step up in my positivity and rise above what's going on. There will be people that like me, there are people that will comment about me, but a strength of character is one who can go beyond the influence of others and look people in the eye, even though you know they've gossiped about you or they've directly said something negative. To me, that's a sign that I'm moving, it's on my journey of love. Whereas someone says something, maybe I know it, maybe I don't know it, but I can still be around them. So again, the self-talk is, it might even be good wishes, good wishes. I know someone's just said something bad about me, but I smile. It might be a little bit false, but I'm on that stepping stone of developing a strength of character, a mindset, which I can be around any type of person, whether they like me or don't like me. This is meditation, actually. Meditation is not something I do. It's being able to manage conflict, people who personally like me and people who don't like me. And I am around sometimes people I know who don't always see eye to eye with me, but it doesn't affect me anymore. Make sense?
Sure. And when you, it's about giving good wishes. So what would you visualize while sending good wishes like love to the world? So what is the picture one would create in the mind?
So when I do the world, I actually see the globe of the world spinning.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. So I see that they're kind of green and blue and it's moving. this is just, the beauty of meditation is variety. You do what you want. So I see that, and then I can just be above the world. There I am, and I'm just having thoughts of light. Even light is like light and love reaching the world, light and love to nature, light and love to the physical world there, and see it, visualize it spinning. So yeah, see the world as it is.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think we got one more question. How would meditation help one identify one's weaknesses? If you can share some tips on that.
Yeah. Yes, it's when I start to meditate, it's very interesting. You start to see yourself more clearly because you start to become more refined. Because what's happening inside, there's a lightness of spirit. There's like your wisdom starts being, your inner wisdom starts emerging, and so you start to see things you never saw before. You think, well, I'm not that bad a person, and actually, but as a regular meditator, you start to see things about your character because you're refining yourself. Whereas for me, for instance, anger. For me, anger was full-blown, red-faced, roaring and shouting. And now when I've examined myself more on the path of meditation, and when I've seen my anger come up, I've seen it come up in the form of irritation. That is a mild form of anger. I never used to equate anger with irritation, but just because of my experience of this irritation coming up, it comes up with a force, it comes up with agitation, it comes up with you can't control it. And now that, for me, I've seen that as a subtle form of anger. So I've seen that because as meditation, if we meditate regularly, we're kind of cleaning the spirit, the soul. So as I'm cleaning, I'm seeing the qualities, and the qualities are becoming more prevalent. I'm also seeing the little chinks also. It's just kind of natural. In fact, it's a good thing. It's a funny thing. Sometimes you can have a meditation, you can feel sometimes a bit more, not the best after it. And actually, to me, that is a good sign, because I'm seeing something about myself that needs to change. How can I change myself unless I see that? People can say, Natalie, you know you're irritable. No, I'm not. I'm not irritable. You are. You get irritable. No, I don't see that. But when I start to meditate, I see it in myself. It's only until I see it in myself that I do something about it. Otherwise, people can be telling me my whole family or my whole life, I don't hear it. But when I feel it and see, yes, it's irritability, or it's coming from me, then I will want to change it. I see. So you will see more chinks in the character, but that's okay. That's kind of a natural part of the process. Is that a useful answer?
Yes, thank you. I hope that's okay. Okay, maybe any final questions? You'll have to unmute yourself, and then you can ask a question, or you can send me a message. If not, okay. We've got one more message, one more question. So this individual has been trying to wake up early in the morning for meditation. I think it's been a challenge. So is there anything which you would recommend that they meditate in the night so that they can get over this sanskara, this personality of not able to wake up in the morning?
For me, my life was very much about going to bed late and getting up late. And so it's taken some work for me. And I think you have to be easy on yourself. Also, check what you're doing before you go to sleep. It was funny, recently, I was talking to someone who was having lots of nightmares. And eventually, not straight away, in time, because people just don't think about their behaviours. They don't think about what they're doing. And bit more self-reflection, so you don't even notice sometimes. And then she actually said, my gosh, often I watch a horror movie before I go to bed. So we just think that's the norm. You wouldn't think it's my relaxation time, isn't it? I'm in bed, I'm going to watch my TV in bed, I've got some time on my hands, it's locked down, watch a movie. But if this movie's filled with violence and horror, then what's my sleep going to be like? And then what's my waking moments going to be like? So our last thoughts before we go to bed impact us. So I'd suggest no sleep sometime before going to bed. I would really think half an hour or so or more. I don't watch much TV. I disengage from too much technology. I don't, emails and that stop, an hour before I go to bed. So check what I'm doing before I go to sleep, and really sit up in bed and just have some very good thoughts for yourself, more positive thoughts. But this determination, I really want to get up. Really, it's kind of got to be a lot of self-interest there. It's not because someone else is doing it. It seems to be the best things. I have to really want to do these things for myself. And that's how I've overcome some of my habits that were quite deeply ingrained. I really want to do this. So don't set your target too high. It's not like, right, from tomorrow I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock for the next week. No, maybe tomorrow get up half an hour early or whatever you've got to see your program. Tomorrow it's half an hour early, but before I go to bed, I really want to do this. I really from determination, self-interest, that I want to do it, and then sleep on that thought. Maybe make sure the alarm clock's not too near the bed. I'd move it out the door so you have to get out of bed. Practical things. I know in those early days I had 2 alarms. That's how it is. There's silly things, but if we need to do it to kick us out these deep rooted habits that we've got, we have to find ways of doing it. Or you may think, if you want to get out of bed early and you want to meditate, well, get out of bed and have a cup of tea. That will encourage you. Or have a coffee. Yeah, I'm good. So you're tricking your mind. Do you think, I'd rather have an hour, half an hour in bed? No, get up, have a quick coffee, then do your meditation. Any way that will entice you to get out of the comfort of that warm, cozy bed. Hope that helps.
Thank you very much. I think all of us in this meditation journey have this challenge of waking up early in the morning. So that was quite a useful tips. So thank you, Natalie, and thank you all the participants for asking questions. I think the beauty of when you ask a question, I think it helps not you, but it helps the wider audience. So thank you very much. Okay, so I think it's time to wrap up the session. So thank you once again, Sister Natalie. Thank you for a very inspiring talk. You've shared lots of tools and techniques. I've just summarized some of my thoughts. I think for me, true care is about self-talk, which is quite powerful. It's about the need to create positive thoughts, drop negative thoughts, not to gossip. I like the statement, which is also one of my favorite, which is used at the beginning, which is, this will pass, everything is okay. And do a scan check the quality of your actions. You got to be busy, but not lazy. And it's also important to check, what am I sharing? So when I share, what is the intention? What is the intention behind my sharings? And I should not be sharing when I'm probably anxious or nervous or agitated. So that will probably come into action. So it's to make sure you have the right time to decide when to share. So thank you so much, and it's wonderful. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the participants. And on behalf of everyone, I would also thank you, Natalie.
Thank you. It's been great. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.